Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together. We thank you for the time to learn, the time to share. Pray that even as we go into it, you show us the secrets that, Lord, you have laid down in this our world and this understanding so that we can live the kind of real life you want us to live. We thank you because you know you have answered. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So we are looking at dealing with debt and credit building. And like somebody said, I would have thought that maybe we would start dealing with building credit, and maybe within that we can talk about dealing with debt. Somebody hearing dealing with debt will scare people off, right? It's like I don't know if you still remember back home, there are people who sell medicines, they put it in some small containers and they put it in vans, and they will be putting some speakers on top of the van. And while they are selling in the market, they are mentioning all the kind of sicknesses that that medicine can cure. And there's somebody who just maybe feel that he just has some bruises and he just need that medication. But while he's walking towards it, they'll be shouting and mentioning some of the terrible sickness that you don't want anybody to identify with you, and it will turn the person back because nobody wants to actually deal with death. But let's read Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. He said, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender." The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. And we can say that debt is bad, but debt can also be good. If it is a personal debt, it's very bad. If it is a business debt, it's very good. In fact, all the companies that we know of, they all owe. And the more you owe, the more prosperous we think that you are. If we look at all the companies that are listed on the stock exchange, do you know the meaning? It means they owe people. And somebody said that, yeah, the stocks of this company is this, and they have so and so listed, and they have this so and so amount of stocks on the market. They are just boasting of how much they owe. So debt is not as bad as we think, but it becomes bad when it is a personal debt. I don't want to go through what debt means, because even if you don't know, you fail it. So I won't define it. I know we all know it. Then let's look at some types of debt. We have credit card debts, which as of last year, nationwide is about $841 billion. It is the hottest business any bank. And now we see even people who are not banking institutions are even entering into credit card. Once we have all these stores, departmental stores, they are all creating their own. In fact, I use, is it Wave or this transfer? They are all creating their credit card, right? Even Delta, all the airlines, they all have their credit card. So why are people, almost everybody? I mean, I think there was one day I saw one company and they also create, I'm like, you too, it's like everybody wants to, because it's the most lucrative business any entity can enter in. And that's why it is, and it's also the most tempting debt that anybody can get in. But again, it's also another way of building a very good credit. We'll come back to that. So credit cards. Then we also have the personal loans. Personal loans, is also on the rise. We'll look at the statistics very, very soon. Then we have mortgages. that we already know what they are. We have home equity loans. We have home equity line of credit. Talk about them. Then we also have auto loans, and we have the most beautiful student loans. That's my favorite, you know, and which in itself is a very, very good loan. You know, student loans are supposed to be very good because we call them capacity building loans. We call them capacity building loans because there are some loans that are consumables and there are some loans that actually help you to build capacity. So student loan is one of those good loans because it's helping you to build capacity to earn so that you can pay it. Credit cards are not. Okay, so these are some of the few, and we also see that to the year 2020, 2021, this gives a glance of what happened. Credit cards, the average credit card debt is 5,000. The average credit card debt in the United States is for about 5,000. Personal loans, and I know that it's not so much popular, but when you are in dire need, you know where to get one, you know, and the interest is so high because it's unsecured, you know. It's not because you cannot get more. You can get more in a personal loan than in credit card loan. Yeah, so and usually they don't give it for maybe max 5 years or so because they know it's unsecured. And because it's also unsecured, they have to give you a very high interest rate because of the risk they are taking. So auto loans is a very beautiful one too. You know, the average is about 19, 20, 20,000. Then student loans around 40,000. Then the most beautiful. And I hope you got the news that came this morning, right? It's supposed to be, they say it's supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be a good news. We'll talk about that very soon. Then we look at about the HE line of credit. Then we look at the mortgage loans. If you see 200,000 in Massachusetts, you think that that's too small, but in other places, I mean, you can buy houses for 50,000 to 20,000. So yeah. Yes, please. What's HE? So it's a line of credit. So you take loan. The way credit card works, credit card is a line of credit actually. They have given you this is the max of account amount you can spend. You cannot exceed that. That's your credit line. So in the same way, when they look at the value of your equity in your home, you can take a loan against your equity, but it's going to be a line of credit. You cannot take more than this. But just like the credit card, whatever amount you take, you are paying interest on it. So you're not paying, if they give you a line of credit about, let's say, 50,000, you're not paying interest on the whole 50,000. You're only paying what you have used. Yeah. And that's different from the real equity loan where you take that money and you spend it the way you want to spend and you pay the interest on it. Okay. Now let's look at why we are here, how to deal with it. There are so many ways you can get yourself into debt. The only way to get out is to pay, right? And we are not here to kind of judge ourselves and see how I got into the debt. Some of them are very legitimate. Some of them are also very legitimate in your own eyes, and some of them, if it is now looked at by your parents, they will tell you they're foolish, right? But we are not here to make the judgment. We are here to talk about how we can get happy. So let's assume that we are having this. It could be credit card. it could be student loan, it could be personal loans, you know. How can you get out of it? Number one, you have to begin with your own personal budget. And it will interest you to know that there are lots of people who don't know their personal budget. You know, the last time we had a program like this, I asked some people that if I turn to Sister Rose, how much hits your account in 2 weeks? Your bi-weekly pay. How much? To the, not to the cents, but to the last dollar. There are some people they can't tell. It will surprise you. There are some people they don't know. But there are some people they know even to the cent. And that is good. So just yeah, so I'm not asking, right? Yeah. So, and actually you belong to about 60% of people in the United States that they don't know. All they know is that oh yeah, I mean, some people are able to run it up to the closest hundreds. Some are able to run it to the tens. You are looking at somebody who can run it to the cents. Me, right? So you know that, right? So when okay, that's good. So if HR by any mistake loses just $1, they know they'll get it, right? And they have to explain to you why. Right? But we. Oh yeah. I mean, there are very, very legitimate mistakes. I was handling a particular account, and I was supposed to reconcile those, and it was an overtime account. So these are police investigators, and we're supposed to reconcile their overtime account. And somebody didn't get a pay of $650, and the person didn't know. And I'm like, what? The person didn't know. We have to contact her, please. So you didn't get all your money. Oh, really? I didn't get all my money. $650. Some of them $500. And I'm like, how can? Because if it's just $1, I don't know. But you know, so some people don't know. So at least let's know it. And you are just going to prepare a very simple budget. This is how much comes in, and this is how much goes out. You can just a very simple way. That is going to give you an idea of whether the debt is actually ongoing. Because in the quest to deal with your debt, you have to find out whether actually the debt is ongoing. If the debt is ongoing, all the other things that we are going to discuss cannot have an ongoing means that the lifestyle that you are building the debt every day. And it might be that you are earning 1,000, but your very essential bills are 1,200. You know, and yeah, so it means that your expenses actually outweighs your income, but you don't know. So that is where the source of the debt is coming. So at least we all have to have an idea of how much am I earning and how much am I paying. So once you, at least if you should have a fair idea, this is how much I earn, this is how much goes into these essential bills. The essential ones are, you know, the rent, the mortgage, the bills, you know, those non-negotiable ones, you know, and of course your groceries, right? So those ones goes into the essential. Then the non-essential, the all those subscriptions, you know, something box. Yeah, Starbucks. Then those TV subscriptions, you know, Netflix and all those. So all those ones are, you can live without them. So you also put them in one. Then you now look at how much is left. And sometimes it might surprise you that nothing is left. It means that you are living a life far beyond reality. So that's where we have to start from. And personal budget is a topic of history. Hopefully one day we'll look at them. And we can all assume that we know it. But when you start doing it, you will now understand that I really didn't know it. Yeah. So that's what PSP is.
What's the spreadsheet? I'm trying to look online. I'm not able to get that. I think someone has mentioned one time where you can input like all your income and also the bills.
Wow.
No, only I was going to say if I wanted to hold your questions, just because the last hour is question and answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like I have how many minutes? 50. I have how many? Oh, and I haven't even called to. Okay, all right. So then the next one is that you take inventory of your debt. Write it down. Credit card, and maybe if you are like me, that I have about 7 credit cards, right? And I'll tell you why it's good sometimes and why it's bad. But when we get to the yes, no, I think 5. Yeah. Yes. So we'll get there. So you write your credit card, credit card A, capital 1. I have 2 from only capital 1. So capital 1A, capital 1B, you know, then you write the balance of each. Then you write the rate of each, interest rate of each. Then you look at, so if it is credit card, you write the interest rate. If it is a student loan, you write the interest rate. Every debt counts with the cost, and the cost is the interest rate. So you write all the interest. So just put them down. Just have a clear view of what you are dealing with. So every debt, the interest rate, the balance, then maybe the life of the loan. There are some of them you're supposed to pay it off in the next 2 years. There are some of them, like credit card line is forever. So that's fine. So you write them down, and at least it's going to give you a picture of them. Then the third one is you apply the bridge. So you cannot solve credit issues by adding more credit. So, and sometimes I've fallen in that before. You are looking at somebody who actually had about a debt of about 25,000, and I moved from 25,000 to a 0. And I'm coming to share that with you. At that time, my credit score was below 600. It ended up at 825. And I'm going to share that with you. But the mistake some of us did was that I want to pay off my credit card, but I'm still using it. Oh, when my pay comes, I'll put it on it, then I'll still use it. No, it's a deception. So apply the brakes. Once you know that you want to solve this credit problem, don't use it again. Know that this is the amount I'm dealing with. Have a picture of it. So apply the brakes. Sorry, you need to say. Yeah, so we'll talk about how you can make it happen. Yeah, because it's a temptation that we can easily. I fell into it, and I don't think anybody should.
4x4 even. Oh, the one that she uses. Yeah. They're like pay for it. They're like it's kind of like installment payment, right? Mine is worse.
Okay. So stop the brakes. The next one is now you budget for the repayment. There are so many ways that you can start. You cannot tune your mind that, okay, now I've taken a stock of it. I've applied the brakes. Now I want to start paying it. And there are ways. Some people will go by what they call the 50-30-20 budget. It means that make sure that when you are budgeting for your income, that I'm going to spend 50% in the essential, 30% in the non-essential, which are still needed, but you can still live without it. I mean, internet is needed, but I tell you, when it gets to worse, you can live without it. I tried. I did that. And whenever I have to get to the internet, I make sure that I do everything related to internet at work. Then when I get home, I know I don't have the internet. I'm going to talk about how, because sometimes there must be a very drastic measure to take. And I remember those times church was having internet, so I'll drive to church and just go and stand by the church and get the Wi-Fi and do it and still go, because there was drastic. We'll talk about that in the election. Then we now have to reduce, and then the 20 is you use 20% either for your savings. That's a 50-30-20 approach. 50% for the essentials, 30% for the non-essentials, 20 for savings or debt payment.
Pastor is there also.
Okay. So I'm going to just give a quick answer. Then, if there's more, we'll answer it then. So you still have to pay tithes because that money is not yours. It's just like, when you get your paycheck, they have already taken out the taxes, the social security and stuff. So whatever planning you are doing, you are not adding those taxes. Maybe the government will have mercy on me and say that, it's so in the same way, all this calculation that just assume that 10% you don't even have. Okay, all right, we'll continue. Then reducing expenses. So now we have to sit down and look at all your expenses that you have, and you have to take drastic measures to reduce them. So you have to go through once in a while the normal bills that you have. You can go through them one after the other. The electric bills, there's some element of suppliers fee. Check how much am I paying for that supply. That's where most of the money goes in the electric bill. It might be that you have chosen a supplier that is taking all of the money. There are some people who go door to door and they say that I'm working for National Grid. It's a lie. So they can, just give me your bill and I'll show you how best. Once they take your bill, they have taken your account number and now they switch your supplier to their account, and it is bad. Currently, the State House is trying to pass a bill to stop them, and they have duped a lot of them. Yeah, so I have 30. I have how many minutes?
Yeah. Everyone said like 5 minutes. So 5 minutes.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, okay. So all right, so just go through your bill and look at where you can cut. There are a lot of places you can cut. Then you also look at where you can increase, because there are sometimes that you can't cut anyway. Yeah. You go through, you try to use your glasses, maybe you are not seeing well, you do everything, still there's no way you can cut. In that case, you have to now turn the other side, the income side. It means you have to do something to increase the income. There's also a payment strategy. They call one the debt avalanche. It means because of our time. So you look at all the debts that you have. If it's the credit card debts, you start paying those with the high interest rate first, no matter the amount. Start paying those ones first. That's the summary that I will have explained there. Then the snowballing is start paying the smallest debt first. Because what it is that once you're able to finish paying one, it will give you that kind of self-fulfillment. I've been able to clear this one, so you can move forward. But in actual sense, it's the avalanche method that really saves you money, because you have to start paying down the one with the higher interest rate. Then there are other ways that I will not recommend. Credit consolidation, I will not recommend. There are some that you can go to. Balance transfer, I will not recommend, because it's just that the only thing is that you are just shifting your day of food. That's all.
So you can now pay only to them. Yeah, I'm sure you're just paying them most of the time.
Yeah.
No.
Now, if they are giving you a lower rate, then it's more like you are refinancing, right? Yeah. These people are making you pay a higher one. And of course, you can refinance, and if there's one that is going to give you a lower rate. But if it is the only this thing that you are transferring so that they'll give you zero something for a moment, and that's zero something for a period, is a promotional something. The transfer that you are making, you are paying, is it 3% of any amount that you are transferring? For those 3 months or 6 months interest free that they are giving you, that 3% you paid is enough for you. So it's a little relief, but you are just postponing your day of phone. So it's better you really deal deep into it. I think we have three minutes more, and we haven't started the second part. So credit building, we have the credit score. We look at the benefits of a good credit, then the myths. What is a credit score? We know it, right? Do I need to explain? Okay, so we know it. So from 300 to 850. And you can choose wherever you want to be. But what is a credit score? A credit score is a number that the financial institution tax you with, just to show potential lenders who you are. That's all. So it doesn't mean you are rich. It means you are credit worthy. That's all. So your income doesn't affect your credit score. It is how credit worthy you are. So that's why sometimes when you have a low credit, they are trying to tell all the lenders around us, hey, be careful of this guy. Be careful. Don't trust him. Don't trust him. So that's why whenever you are applying for a credit and they are pulling your credit, they are pulling your record. Once you go here and they pull, and you go to another place and they pull, you look that it's better, because the next one you are going, they are going to tell you no, because it has already alerted them that there's somebody in trouble. Don't be fooled to give it anything. So it is just a number to tell the potential lenders who you are. Sorry. There are people who are even age 40. I got to age 30. Yes. So you just have to, we don't make the rules, but you can benefit from the rules. So you just have to know what are they looking for, then do it. That's what the credit building is about. So there are a lot of benefits. There was one that one of our brothers in the church, he was going to buy a car, and we're almost borrowing the same amount to buy that. He got, I think, 7.5% interest, and I got about 2%. Now, if you know what that difference make, you value your credit score. Initially, he didn't really think that it is that important. But when you start, especially when you are borrowing for like a house, you know that when you are paying a mortgage of about 3,000 in your first year, that 3,000, about 2,200 is credit, is the interest. So just imagine that part that you're able to reduce by a good credit. Yes. Okay. 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 So
you stop here and let the other go down.
Yeah, but it's only if you ask questions.
Yeah. So we will look at some of the myths, then we'll look at now the anatomy of the credit score is going to help us to know how we can build it. How can you get a 35%? How can you get a 30%? So maybe in our questions we can address it.